25 Montcalm Avenue in Blackstone. 508-883-6010.
A nice, calm, winter-like day for the Winter Wonderland holiday stroll on Main Street in Woonsocket. More clouds than sun, 38 degrees, and calm wind. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 23 and a breeze in the west. Sunday's weather, mostly sunny with a high of 38 and a northwest breeze. Sunday night, a tiny chance of a snow shower, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 21. Monday, sunshine and 27. Tuesday, mostly sunny and 32. Tuesday night, slight chance of a shower or maybe some snow. Wednesday, a chance of rain in the afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high of 45 degrees. Wednesday night, more rain, mostly cloudy and 32. Thursday, a slight chance of some rain, but partly cloudy for most of the day and even partly sunny by the end of the day. A breeze in the west and a high of 41 on Thursday. Chance of some snow Thursday night, and on Friday, a tiny chance of some snow, otherwise partly sunny skies with a high of 35.
Currently outside our Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio here on Park Avenue in Woonsocket, the temperature is 30 degrees.
ON Radio.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I am Pat Holland, sitting in the pilot seat today. Kevin is unfortunately out. Hopefully he's recovering from a wonderful time at a wedding last night. I'm excited to have two guests in studio this morning. We'll get to them in a few minutes. They both showed up on time, which is half the battle. Little local news. Bryant Soccer hosted the Billikens of St. Louis University last Sunday in the third round of the NCAA Men's Division I Soccer Tournament. They battled to a 2-2 tie at the end of two extra time periods. It's a great time, great game. Ultimately came down to PKs with the Billikens moving on 4-3 on the tournament. So congratulations to Brian on a tremendous season. Ranked as high as number 2 in the nation. Nothing but good things coming out of Bryant these days. Over to their men's basketball team. They entered the week 2-6 after losing a tight game to Harvard last Saturday, 56-53. They bounced back to beat Stonehill College on Tuesday night, 77-65. Then faced off against in-state rival Brown last night, dropping another game, 75-56. Bryant women's team entered the week at 7-0, but dropped their last two games, 62-53 to in-state rival Providence, the Lady Friars, last Sunday. Then they then dropped their next game to Yale, 61-48 on Wednesday. They next play on Sunday versus Holy Cross at 2 p.m. at the Chase Athletic Center. PC men's basketball entered the week 4-4 on the season. They knocked off Fairleigh Dickinson at the AMP on Tuesday night, 94-64. They were led by Jason Edwards with 24 points, 4 steals. He was 4 for 9 from three-point land. Jalen Sellers, who had 21, was 5 for 6 from 3. And Stefan Vax had a double-double with 10 points, 10 assists. They host URI this afternoon at the AMP at 12 p.m. That game can be seen right on True TV. To college hockey, the PC men's hockey team, they currently sit at 7-6-3 on the season. They split a 2-game series last weekend out in Colorado College. They next play Tuesday, December 9th, versus Brown at Meehan Auditorium in the Mayor's Cup. Brown currently sits at 3-8. They faced off against the number 10 ranked Dartmouth College, who are undefeated last night. They dropped a game 7-3 to Dartmouth. Unfortunately, quick turnaround for them, so hopefully they can get right back at it tonight against number 20 Harvard in Cambridge at 7 p.m. And then URI football. They won their FCS playoff game last weekend against Central Connecticut State, 27-19, led by junior quarterback Devin Farrell, who went 24 for 38, 365 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He hooked up with Marcus Buchanan at 10 o'clock out on the West Coast, and you can see that on ESPN2. So we're going to take our first break, and when we get back, I'll introduce my two guests who are close personal friends. One I've known my entire life, the other I've known since college. So we'll be back right after these messages.
You can drive home in a brand new Buick or GMC by coming to Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Right now, the 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab with a TurboMax engine has 0% APR for well-qualified buyers. All 2025 Buick models, Envision, Encore GX, Envista, and Enclave have 0.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, plus no monthly payments until next year. Stop in for a test drive today to Tasca Buick GMC, 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Visit TascaBuickGMC.com. You will be satisfied.
At North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, you'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who'll diagnose your minor illness or injury. Their services include treatment for flu, fractures, rashes, ITU infections, and work-related injuries, plus physicals, vaccinations, and drug screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, Wake Robin Road, Lincoln. X-ray and lab on premises.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at ServiceMaster by Gilmore. From water and fire restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years, now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or too small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call ServiceMaster by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web at www.svmgilmore.com. Restoration done right every time.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesaler.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
All right, welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm ecstatic to be joined by my two good friends. My brother, Chris Holland, obviously known him my entire life. Went to UMass together. Chris is currently the CEO of Inspire Arts and Music, which is a nonprofit group, executive director of the Boston Crusaders, an organization that my family has been involved in for like 40 years. We were both members, both sat on the board of Inspire Arts. Chris took over as CEO in 2015. Another tidbit that's relevant to Woonsocket, State Rep Stephen Casey.
Yeah.
Who is a Woonsocket firefighter, he's an alum of the Boston Crusaders, so we've known Steve probably forever. I think our dads were friends back in like the 60s too, so right. we go way back. And then also joined by my good friend Eric Vargo, who we lived with at on Gray Street at UMass.
Wiffle ball champion of Gray Street, I might add.
This is true. Another tidbit about Eric, he's also AKA the silent partner. Was a independent wrestling circuit manager of the Prototype at one point.
No, not him. Same circuit, the Prototype was there, yes.
Who was John Cena.
Yep.
Who's obviously WWE fame.
He went on to do other things, yes.
Some other things. Yeah. And then also sat in on the World Series of Poker back when it was not as mainstream.
Cashed twice, yes.
I remember
4 or 5 times.
Specifically watching it online.
Yep.
And hearing the Eric Vargo will never look at Trip 4s the same after that river card busts him out of the tournament.
Something like that, yeah. It made the blog, and I had to read that for years. I think it's still up there.
I think it is. Yeah. I think it is. But I remember it was probably 2006.
07. That
so
one was
area.
07, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you guys filling in for Kevin while he's not here. So we're going to talk a little bit Bruins, then we'll get into a little bit of the Pats. They're on the bye week. We'll touch base on the Lane Kiffin story, which I think is just incredible, and then we'll talk about some of the World Cup draw, I guess, right?
Great.
So Bruins. I think that if you asked me at the beginning of the season by mid-December if they were in second place in the Atlantic, I would have been shocked.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Look, they're actually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I expected very little, and I didn't think it would be all that entertaining either. But, you got to give, I am, as you know, very critical of upper management, as many folks around here are. But we're pretty good at hiring coaches. We've had some really good coaches. We fired most of them. But it looks like Marco Sturm can coach. It looks like, they hit the jackpot with him because the guys clearly are buying in. This is not an easy situation for him to step into, and he's getting a lot out of guys who are really middle of the road type players. But there's opportunity here, and they're seizing the moment. And the other thing for me, I've been excited about is it looks like Jeremy Swayman's back. He's had a couple of games here or there where he didn't look the way you would like to see your stud goalie look, but 2.8 goals against. He's got, I think, 11 wins, there is a stat, and I'm not a stat geek, but I did see like unexpected saves, like grade A saves. He leads the league in grade A saves, and it's by a lot. So he is making saves that other goalies can't or aren't making. So it looks like we're in for a battle to be in the playoffs. There's a lot of hockey left. I mean, you got Florida, the back-to-back champs, in last place. We've got games at hand, but look, they're winning without Pasa. They're winning without McAvoy.
Yeah,
you got
Lindholm,
21 goals.
Lindholm was out for an extended stretch. He's coming back. So we do have a caller on the line. We're gonna go there. Looks like it's our good friend Marty Crowley. Give me 1 second. I'm not good at the phone, so. Marty, you there? Let me try this again.
We got the instruction manual for this thing?
I know, right?
I swear, no one can replace Kevin.
Marty, you there?
Sorry, press that button the second time.
This one.
Yeah, it counts how, now press this right here. Okay, now you got it.
Marty, you there?
Boy, you know what? Smartphones, smart people, sometimes.
not so smart today.
Isn't modern technology great, right?
It's right. How you doing, Marty?
Listen, doing well, Pat. Thank you. You guys sound great. Listen, I wanted to get to you before the Bruins start, because we all know any kid's or young man's greatest accomplishment are wiffle ball championships, right?
Oh yeah.
You can do anything in your life, but if you win in wiffle ball, that's something you can take with you forever. And my friends and I, to this day, still hold it over each other's head.
I had a wicked curve and a hell of a changeup, and unfortunately, I lost the curve. I don't quite have it anymore, but I can still throw it pretty good.
Marty, don't let him fool you. He remembers what he wants to remember too. So. But
it wasn't great for my GPA, by the way, but we had a lot of fun.
Neither was beer, but whatever.
That GPA doesn't matter, I'm sure your parents, when you went home with like a wiffle ball bat that was taped up and everybody signed it, or your diploma, plus minus, there's got to be something in there, right?
That's right. It all counts towards something.
That's right, it does, but that's it. Have a great day, you guys. I agree on the Bruins. It's good that they're winning now. It's also good that the Celtics have seemed to figure it out as well. So
they look good. At least the last two games, I watched a little bit last night. And, obviously they're playing against nobody. How the Lakers could let that happen is beyond me, or even the NBA. How do you schedule a back-to-back for both teams where you end up with no LeBron?
It's a scheduled loss.
Yeah, it's bad. Bad. So.
Yeah, I know people were going to the game hoping to catch LeBron to watch him play because, you never know. He's getting to that point where, he could be at the end of his career. At least you get to see him play a little bit.
Right.
We shell out money for tickets, and these guys don't play. So.
And they do the tiered system now, right? So the season ticket holders pay. That was a platinum game. So, you're not getting platinum money for people that are going like, well, I'm not going to go watch nobody. So.
Correct.
All right, Marty.
Good day, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, the best the best thing about the Bruins this year, I think, is the Swayman story. He's back. And
Yeah.
It seems like he's just back to being the Vezina candidate that he's going to be.
I would like to see them ride him a little bit more.
Yes.
I feel like they go. I mean, I get it. You got a $3.5 million backup goalie. You got to play him. But Korpisalo is still.
Well, I would imagine they're playing him because they're going to move him.
Well, they
like,
should be trying to.
so
That's for sure.
I would,
especially with DiPietro.
Yeah.
Down in Providence, who's, I mean they've lost 4. I haven't checked. I didn't check. The AHL is a weird schedule, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
But they had only lost 4 games in their first 20. I think he had only lost 1.
They got the Olympic break they got to consider,
Yeah.
and there's a condensed.
And they
schedule
can't bring
because of
DiPietro
that.
up because they'd have to. If they send him back down, he'd have to go through waivers, and there's
Right.
no way he gets through waivers
Right.
again. So, but yeah, obviously Geeky has been a surprise. I mean, he's on pace for 50 plus, which I mean you got to think he's going to settle down. Lowry, I think Sturman's done a good job at managing him. I mean, here's a kid who was minus 43 last year.
Right.
He's plus 3 right now.
Right.
Which is.
And he gave him some tough love because he's
Yeah, he stabbed him.
5 healthy scratches in a row, but he did go back to him and said, "Look,
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's an NHL player. He's just young and he's
Yeah.
offensive minded, but he's rangy. He's starting to find his game. This kid Milstad, he's got 11 points in 20 games. He pumped in, I think, 5 or 6 goals already. So
Yeah, coming back off, he was injured. He just came back off of IR, and then they got. I've been impressed with this kid Steves, who was a free agent pickup from Toronto.
He's a 4th liner with what, 7 goals?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
playing. He's playing on the first line right now,
Yeah.
and he has 7 goals in 13 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Toronto
I mean,
fans must be beside themselves. There was a game the other night where they Steve scored a shorthanded goal.
Oh yeah.
And it was set up by the young kid there,
Mitten.
Minton,
Yeah. Who
Who-
we plucked from them.
who we plucked from them in the deal.
that sent Carlo up.
That sent Carlo up. So Toronto's looking to move Carlo now. We got Minton, who is basically their top guy, who they were high on, a first-round pick, and basically it's like now they're trying to move Carlo. Toronto fans must be like, what are we doing? And you got these 2 kids setting each other up for shorthanded goals.
Are you trying to say the Leafs made some bad moves?
I mean, that would be unbelievable, right?
Well, say what you want about the Bruins. We did get a cup out of that nucleus. We got a secondary run. It'd be okay.
Yeah, and then you got Providence, who they're playing well, and they got 5. They're playing well, and they got 5. I mean, I have a good buddy of mine, Dan Rolfe, who's connected down there, and he's like, they're playing unbelievably well, and they got 5 call-ups up in Boston right now.
Yeah. No, they're the standard.
Yeah.
In the AHL for
So
sure.
which
They are the
is
standard.
unfortunate, but we can't seem to find the guys that can come up and stick, but they play phenomenally well down there. And then the kid Blumel, who I think he led the AHL in scoring last year, right?
Yeah.
He came up and he got hurt. So
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the Bruins. Why don't we take our second break? When we come back, we'll touch upon the Pats, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff. So we'll be back right after these messages.
When you visit State Line Services website, you'll see a wealth of information about them and the 20 kinds of specialties they offer, including cooling system maintenance, emission testing, exhaust systems, and computerized engine analysis. Because today's vehicles are a complicated piece of equipment with a network of sensors that monitor your vehicle's performance. In other words, you need an expert. State Line Service and Tire Center, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. 765-0146. New customers are welcome.
When you're ill and need same-day care, remember North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care for affordable and accessible care. You'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who will assess the problem and make you feel safe and reassured. Check their websites for convenient patient and medical forms, which you may fill out before the visit. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield. 768-3400. And Lincoln Urgent Care, 2 Wake Robin Road, Lincoln, 333-9595.
Woonsocket Door Sales carries an excellent variety of doors to complement your residence or business, including the LiftMaster security doors that provide you with extra protection against theft. These doors feature a special security ID code to further safeguard your home, business, or valuables in your garage. Remember, an attractive door complements the appearance of your home or business. Woonsocket Door Sales for installation, parts, and repairs. Woonsocket Door Sales, 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Call them 767-3448.
If you want your yard to be the envy of the neighborhood, then you need to contact Rosato & Sons of Westboro. They've been turning outdoor visions into reality across Massachusetts for more than 37 years. From custom patios, walkways, and outdoor kitchens to low-maintenance water features and landscape lighting. Looking for routine lawn maintenance, irrigation, or seasonal color? Rosato & Sons has you covered. They are a full-service landscaping firm doing it all in-house for unmatched quality and reliability. When you're ready to elevate your outdoor living, visit rosatoandsons.com to request your free estimate. Rosato & Sons of Westboro, where beautiful landscapes aren't an expense, they're an investment.
ON Worldwide.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Again, joined here by my friend Eric Vargo and Chris Holland, my brother. Thanks for coming in again.
Great to be here.
So far, it's been pretty good. All right, so we're gonna touch base on the Pats. Right, we're in the bye week. They're 11-2.
Oh yeah.
Which,
I
again,
believe so, yes.
You asked me at the beginning of the season if the Pats would be 11-2, and I'm kind of the most. I would have thought 7 wins, 6 wins, right? And now 11-2, but it's always the next game. Like, what's going to happen? Are they? They should win. They should beat. Obviously, you get the Jets left. You got Miami, another big game against Buffalo, which
yeah, they're in here next week, so that's a big one. Because I think they're going to try to be a bully, and put doubt in the Patriots' mind. I mean, it's December now, so it's. Look, I mean, everybody uses the same, motto. Like, it doesn't count until December, and the Bills are telling themselves that now. Like, if they go on a run in December, then they've won the division before. To them, it's like they got to get to the AFC Championship and win the Super Bowl. So, and the Pats are a little bit of house money, right now. But I'd be surprised if they lay an egg. I just don't see it. I think they're too well coached. They're too well prepared, and it seems like they got a really good mix of guys in who there's enough talent, there's enough hunger. The fans will be crazy next week at Foxborough.
Oh yeah.
Against Buffalo. So
it's funny. I went to the Carolina game earlier in the season, and it was a different atmosphere. Still full, but it was a different atmosphere than when I went to the Jets game.
Well, there were no expectations early in the season, right?
Right.
We just wanted to be competent, and that's it.
And now it's like these guys can play. Drake clearly looks like he's the guy, right? He's playing phenomenally well.
Oh yeah.
He's a legit top 5 in the league, at least, if not higher.
Yeah, he's just making throws that other guys can't make.
Yeah,
and he's
they're the decision-making factor has become much better for him.
And
right?
he's not running around playing Tecmo Bowl. He's moving in the pocket. He's shifting. He's making throws. I mean, he looks amazing. He really does. He's an MVP candidate.
And they're getting production from wide receivers, and it doesn't matter. It's like, one game it's this guy. The next game it's Booty. The next game it's more tight end oriented. So and that's all Josh McDaniels, right? Game planning.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. I know people don't love to give him a lot of credit, and we certainly have well documented, failures at the head coach. But he's not here to be a head coach.
Right.
He can it's clearly a different offense and a different relationship with the quarterback and the wide receiver room. And just guys buying in. But it's like anything else. I mean,
if you have
winning solves a lot. So
yeah.
And some guys are just not head coaches. Some guys are coordinators. McDaniels is a coordinator, and he's a good one.
He's a good one.
and he's great with young quarterbacks.
If you have anything to add to the conversation, feel free to call in 401-766-1240. We'll take calls and answer any questions. Looking forward to people calling in. But, so, I could go hit or miss. Like, do they lose to Buffalo? I'm not going to get too high or too low if they do, right? As we know, New England fans, sometimes it's the sky is falling, right?
Yeah.
If they lose to Buffalo, it's like, oh, here we go. We're back, And
consider the scenario where the Bills come into that game having lost to the Joe Burrow-led Bengals.
Right.
Highly likely, very believable. That game is for the division for the Pats. They can clinch the division with that game if the Bills lose this weekend. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think either way, football's football. You spin it, and even Vrabel. I mean, he doesn't need a lot of, a lot of motivational tools. But you drop the game to the Bills. It's a little bit of not humble pie, but a reminder of like, this is the NFL. This is the razor blade. This is the, to make a run and win this thing. You gotta find ways to win, like they did last game. All of a sudden, special teams are just like they're going to carry us.
And it seems to be like the right year too. I mean, everyone, you got Buffalo's down, not necessarily down, but they're not. You got KC is down, stumbling. Baltimore's stumbling.
They're 6-6. Yeah, KC's 6-6.
So you get these
there are
teams
no dominant teams.
Denver. There are two teams. Denver's defense is really and Houston's defense is.
Yep.
Yeah, they could be a sleeper.
So
they've managed through injuries and they're starting to get hot.
Yeah, I could see Indy dropping off, they're tailing off. Denver, offensively they just can't, they can't compete with the likes of, but defensively they're all over it. So
this is where the NFL's got it figured out, though. Look what we're talking about: the Broncos, the Texans, the Patriots. The parity aspect of what they've been able to do is really pretty.
We touched
awesome.
upon that a little bit last week with this whole. Everyone says like, oh, the strength of schedule, easiest schedule, this and that, and it's like, listen. The NFL set that up purposely so that teams would not be as bad as they are for long periods of time. There are teams that are that bad because they mismanage, but it shouldn't take you long to rebuild because they set you up that way with your schedule. Right? You have an easier schedule if you place lower, and a lot of these games are already predetermined. It really only affects 3 games.
Right.
Everything else is predetermined year over year. So,
and a big part of the NFL is your coach too, and.
Clearly.
The Pats have figured that out, and hopefully for a long time. And look at Denver. Yep. Peyton's been around. Peyton has a Super Bowl. Andy Reid in Kansas City. That's why you can't ever sleep on the Chiefs. They have a coach and a quarterback.
Yeah,
I was elated to see them drop that game last week because I really would love to not have to play them. I'd love for them to miss the playoffs entirely.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look that way for them.
Exactly, but I wouldn't want to have them, even if you had to host them, I still wouldn't want to have to play them.
No. Right, yeah.
Because because of the pedigree that they have. I mean, at any given time, Mahomes could just
we
light
watched
it up.
the Pats do it.
Right.
We watched Brady do it.
Yeah, Denver and Houston might have
all these guys.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But again, you asked me at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have thought they were going to make the playoffs this year. I would have liked to have seen them take a step up and get to 7 wins, and I think that would have been a successful season. But to see them go 11-2, now it's like, whoa, all right, well,
hey, we're back.
We're back.
And believe me, America's.
I'm taking pictures of the plane. I'm taking pictures of the plane as I drive by it at TF Green every day. Again,
I've heard so many online personalities shows that I've come across where they're like, it isn't supposed to happen. They're pissed off that the Patriots are good too soon. They're like, it's not supposed to happen this fast. You're not supposed to find a franchise quarterback after having one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. It's supposed to take longer. Everyone's kind of upset at it. But
they wanted 20 years of
right,
misery.
Yeah.
And they got a few.
We had 20 years prior to that, so we got that out of our systems.
Yeah. All right, why don't we segue into the college stuff, the Lane Kiffin story that came out, right? Obviously,
Who's Lane Kiffin?
He leaves Ole Miss and takes the gig at LSU. Now, I hadn't really been following it as much in terms of detail, but I did do a little bit of reading last night where, like, Ole Miss offered him an extension almost to the equivalent of what LSU offered him, $13 million a year. And he turned him down to go to LSU. But just his whole, the NCAA thing these days is getting out of control anyway. But in terms of the NIL and all that stuff, but to see a coach just walk away and just be as arrogant as he has been throughout this process.
Yeah, or to see a coach walk away from a legitimate chance to win a natty.
Yeah,
and you just got to question, are you a competitor or aren't you? And what are your players supposed to think? And what you are the executive of competition, and you just tapped out of a legitimate chance to win a national championship, because you're like, I'm done here and I'm moving there. And the NCAA, I don't blame the coaches, I don't blame the players. The athletic directors have a lot to do with this. The presidents of universities, the money.
And at LSU, it's at the state level. The governor.
It's a state school.
The
They're already on the
governor
hook
got
with, with their outgoing. Coach for another $50 million. Now they plunk another $113 million down, to bring Kiffin in there.
Which they said they weren't going to do again. And the governor was like, "Hey, we can't have this tens of millions of buyouts." And then they give Kiffin a bigger contract than they gave to Kelly.
They did the whole, I don't know how this happened.
Yeah.
who gave this Kelly guy this
Again.
contract? We're not going to do that again.
And they fired the AD too.
Yeah. So I just, long term, and I don't want to sound soft, right? But we were at UMass in the '90s when John Calipari was there, and that was such a big part of the student body experience, the community, and it creates an affinity for the school. And I just think, look, the money is outrageous, in terms of network contracts, and you've got obviously the old Pac-10 teams playing on the East Coast, and
crazy.
All that stuff is crazy. But the long-term impacts of what this does to affinity, to students who go to the school who are going to become future donors. There are a lot of athletes that go to these schools that everyone's a 3 or a 4 or a 5-star, but at some point you get the reality where it's like, what, I'm going to graduate from Ole Miss. I'm going to play here for 4 years. I'm not going to make it to the NFL. And you want to put down your roots. You want to be an Ole Miss guy, and all of that stuff just starts to deteriorate when the schools become transactional and transient. Coaches, players, you got the NCAA's got to figure this out. You can't have the transfer portal open up, in November.
Right.
You just the timing of all of this stuff, and again, you're playing for the national championship on January 20th. Like, they've got to figure out a way, to pull back that championship game back into the bowl season.
And that's what happened last year. Florida State, right? Their top QB goes down. Now they're no longer even in consideration to be in the bowls in the playoff.
Yeah.
And so half their team goes in the portal.
Yeah. And then these bowl
right?
games that are playing, teams, players are opting out. And again, I don't blame any faction. You're just playing by the rules that exist. But another local guy who should look in the mirror and take a hard look at himself is Charlie Baker.
Yeah.
I mean, he is presiding over the NCAA.
He's presiding over a mess right now.
And it's like, you have plenty of smart people who can come in and put some solutions in play that would start to fix some of these issues they're not going away.
Right.
I read a stat last year where it was like in the weight room in January, on a roster of like 80 Division I football players, you got your 54 and then all your add-ons. Like 60 of them are in the transfer portal. You're working out with a guy. You're spotting a guy on the bench, and he's like, he's on the way out.
Yeah. Well, you get North Carolina, who had like 72 players they picked up through the portal this season alone.
And I just don't think we know the long-term effects of it. And
yep.
Football, it's dramatic because of the amount of players and coaches. I mean, it's happening in basketball. I mean, for sure, but the rosters are much smaller.
Yeah. In basketball, you're getting these guys bouncing year after year after year after year, right? So that was a big thing with Calipari talking about, You get these guys like, what do we, Calipari's probably not the guy who should be talking, but
Yeah.
But he is. I think he's right on this. It's like, what are we teaching these kids? These kids are going to get to the end of their college careers, and they're not going to have a degree, because none of them are able to transfer all of their credits over. Right? They've played at 7 different schools, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe they've made some money in the on the NIL, which they'll blow right through, but they don't have a degree, so they have nothing to fall back on, and they're going to be. What are they going to be doing?
And nothing to be part of. You played for 4 teams over 6 years,
Yeah.
and so no one really brings you in as like, you're our guy. Maybe the last stop, maybe. But look, when you have John Calipari and Rick Pitino speaking out,
making sense,
you're in trouble. Like,
yeah,
and they do need to fix it. They can't just ignore it.
In the same breath, Calipari, I think Arkansas is the first school that went out and found a Lloyd's of London is actually insuring the NIL money. So if a kid comes in and then leaves, they can file a claim and get that money back.
Yeah.
So it's like a percentage of. So it's like, oh, we'll pay $30,000 to get that $3 million, and we'll give it to the next player.
Yeah. To be a little fair to Charlie, it's kind of a crazy environment to try and figure out on the fly. It's brand new, but it does seem like there's not much of a plan. It seems like college football is kind of caught between the old and the new, the old traditional bowls and traditional rivalries, and the new where there's all this crazy money flying around. They're trying to figure out how to balance. I mean, New Year's Day is completely irrelevant now.
Right.
Who cares who plays in a bowl game that isn't affiliated with the college football playoff?
Right.
I mean, so yes, it's hard. It's hard to do something that's brand new, but it does seem like there's no plan, and they're just trying to let the money dictate what happens.
So part of the Kiffin payout, LSU is going to pay him. So if Ole Miss goes on and wins a national championship, LSU will pay him that $1 million bonus that he would have gotten at Ole Miss.
Right.
So if you're Ole Miss, you go like, we're just going to lay down. Although Charlie Weiss Jr., he's allowing Charlie Weiss Jr. to stay on.
He's staying
just to coach through the playoffs. But
that's part of the crazy thing. I mean, look at all the coaches whose teams are involved or could be involved with the playoff that are moving. Chesney at JMU is going to UCLA.
Yep.
They could end up in the playoff if Duke wins.
Yeah, they won last night.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for Duke to win because that would bring chaos.
Yes.
I'm rooting for chaos. Hartline, the OC at Ohio State,
Yep.
is leaving. Kiffin, who's this Kiffin guy? I don't know.
Yeah.
The DC at Ole Miss is getting promoted. Weiss Jr. The DC and the OC at Oregon are both leaving. I mean, it's
Oregon's
nuts.
like a turnstile now.
Yeah, like maybe wait until the playoffs are done.
Iowa State's coaches took the Penn State job last night.
Campbell, yep.
Yeah. So Kiffin is the second highest paid coach in the NCAA right now, behind Georgia's coach
Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
And it's like $13.2 million now. How he's getting? I mean, Georgia's been
it's
pretty
tough.
But,
I don't
the
believe me.
SEC is
I
tough.
don't. I agree with you. I'm not being hard enough on Lane Kiffin. It is. I mean, but when you look at his career, I mean, he's just been all over the place. It's a year here.
He's done it
2
multiple
years there,
times.
a year
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, he was out at was he at UCLA for a short period?
No,
USC twice.
He got fired. He got fired on the tarmac.
I did the same school.
He was at USC twice, right? He was a coordinator.
The
and then he
OC
came
under
back.
Pete Carroll, yep. And then he was the one who was famously fired on the tarmac after getting blown out. I forget which game, but
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what the sports.
A year at Tennessee.
This is
1
his
year
second,
at Tennessee,
his
right?
second
One or
stint at
two.
Ole Miss.
His second stint at Ole
Yeah,
Miss?
he was at Ole Miss prior to going out to USC, I believe.
Yeah, he was a coordinator, and then he went. I think he went to. He's been everywhere.
He was at Tennessee
it's
for
crazy.
a year or two as a head coach. Maybe just 1 year.
But
They were burning mattresses when he left. They would. It was nuts.
I do. I just feel. Look, I mean, if you live adjacent to Ole Miss, you've lived there for generations. Like, you don't get to pick and choose. Like, you're not selling your property. Like, you're in on that team, and it's just a gut punch because it's a reminder of, like, to Pat's point, Ole Miss will match dollar for dollar, and it's like, yeah, but you're not LSU.
Yeah,
You
LSU's the blue blood
You
program.
can't give us the
That's
NIL money. You're not going to build, new facilities for us. You're not going to do all the things that, LSU clearly will do. And you know, it's a shame because it was a great story, and now it's, you know, here today, gone tomorrow type of a thing for them probably.
Al Davis called Kiffin a liar. That
Right.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a tough guy. He's a tough personality. Even now, it's like you can think he's matured a little, and he probably has. And it seems like he's figured coaching out a little better. I mean, he took Ole Miss to 11-1, which is a pretty darn good accomplishment. But it's still the same old Kiffin. What's he going to do in 4 years?
Yeah, and the AD's got to look in the mirror too. You know, if Ohio State doesn't win a national championship last year, he's out. Seriously.
Sure.
Like they lost to Michigan.
They lost to Michigan again.
He had a coach to a national championship to win it, to save his job.
Yeah.
And obviously they're on and they're on a run this year. But I mean, that's, you know, and everyone's getting well paid. I get all of that, but you know, there are. That's why the BYU story doesn't get enough play. We should talk about that. You know, they retained the coach. You know, the guy's literally breaking down, saying, "Thank you so much. I didn't want to leave." And now I've got, you know, long-term stability, and I am well compensated. It's not crazy, but there's a guy who wants to stay there.
Signetti got an extension too at IU. Yep.
Yeah.
He's the third highest. He's the third highest coach now, and he's done a phenomenal job there.
He wins. Google him.
Prior to him, they weren't very good.
Yeah, I'm rooting for chaos. I'd love for them to win. I'd love to see these other teams get the automatic.
Yeah, so they play O State in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, that's another thing. The championship conference games meaningless.
Like
unless Ohio State wins by 50,
not
IU
meaningless.
is still going to be number
meaningless
2
for Alabama potentially.
True. I mean, not meaningless if it means something, but these two, like both of them are they're
1 and 2, and that shouldn't change.
Right.
But even for Bama, they could. They could
sneak
get
in.
knocked out.
Oh,
Bama
yeah,
could
yeah.
get knocked out.
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
They lose
They
to
could.
Georgia badly, and then Duke wins, and these other, you know.
The ACC that's a mess.
Yeah. Well, you knew. Look,
Duke is 7-5 in your championship game.
You could do a whole show on Big East basketball and how it turned into. You know,
Kevin will gladly have you on for that show because he's a huge basketball, and I'm not. I'm like college basketball, whatever. Want to talk to me about Dante Bright and Marcus Camby? I'm all in, but you know
that's what all of those guys, Luke Hornacek and all those guys saw this coming long term. Like you've given away the greatest basketball conference, New York City Big East championship. You know those early '80s, mid '80s, and you sold it all out for football. You know, and it's a shame, and now, you know, they're begging to get in. You know, ACC is probably rooting against, you know, Duke hard.
Oh yeah.
You know, for sure. Like they're like, oh boy, we don't want Duke.
We want to start a controversy. Let's pay close attention to the calls that are made in that game.
Yeah, right. All right. Why don't we'll take our last break, and when we come back, we'll touch upon the World Cup draw.
Yes, sir.
Which was interesting, to say the least. So we'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin on WOON 1240 AM 99.5 FM.
You can drive home in a brand new Buick or GMC by coming to Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Right now, the 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab with a TurboMax engine has 0% APR for well-qualified buyers. All 2025 Buick models, Envision, Encore GX, Envista, and Enclave have 0.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, plus no monthly payments until next year. Stop in for a test drive today to Tasca Buick GMC, 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Visit TascaBuickGMC.com. You will be satisfied. Are you looking to beautify your property this autumn? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Are you looking to beautify your home this autumn? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
The last thing you need is more stress. So at Misho's Auto Body, they handle the complete claim for you. Check their website to see the 13 actual steps they take to make your experience stress-free. You'll also see a complete photo gallery showing you the detailed and technical process necessary to accommodate new car construction and metallic paints. Misho's Auto Body, 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket. 769-1983.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
This week's specials at Michael's Meats. Get your large bay scallops, $7.99 a pound. I don't know if that's a good price, but sounds good.
That's a very good price.
All right, so yeah.
I don't know how fresh they are, but it's a very good price.
I'm going to assume they're fresh. We're in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, I'm from New Bedford, so we have high standards. What am I gonna say?
That's understandable. Michael's Meats. They're also taking their Christmas orders now, so if you don't know cuts of beef and all
Holiday
that stuff,
roast.
Get your holiday roast. Call up Michael's Meats. I actually think I'm going to do that myself. So, all right, we're back. World Cup draw took place yesterday. It was interesting.
It took 3 hours.
It did take 3 hours. I know we're like the biggest critiques in the world. Critiquers in the world. Critics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's what I'm here for.
Speak good English. And I don't think they did a great job by any means. I get what they were trying to do. We got to dumb it down a little bit for the U.S. fan.
Yeah.
So they're bringing out all these sports celebrities, right? Shaq, Wayne Gretzky, Brady,
Rio Ferdinand. Does anyone in this country know who Rio Ferdinand is? I don't know.
And I didn't watch it because I was busy. Not all of us can watch the full World Cup draw like yourself.
Well, I have it on in the background. I'm a remote worker. I need some noise in the house, and that filled the void, and it was very entertaining for different reasons.
I did hear that Wayne Gretzky butchered some countries.
There were some new countries, I think.
Yeah.
He clearly... All right, so North Macedonia, he clearly had not seen those two words together before because...
Never played there.
There was hockey there.
Yeah, right. But there was a long pause after the word North, and then he busted out Macedonia. And there was also Caraco, which is for Curacao. I think clearly
I might have referred to it as Caraco once. Hey, the cruise goes to Caraco. We're going to go on that one.
That's where all the offshore sports books are. But, yeah, he had clearly never seen these countries before. But, even outside of that, the village people missed their cue. The chorus was singing backup, and there was no one on stage other than instrumentalists. So that was a bit dodgy, to say the least.
We're like really nitpicking now.
Yeah, but I mean, well, you hear singing and there's no one on stage yet, and the music's going.
Right.
They were clearly there to mostly lip sync, but they were there. All right, whatever.
All right.
But
all right, well, let's get to the draws.
Oh, there was a draw. Yes, after about an hour and a half, they finally got to it.
I think the U.S. This might be the best draw they've ever had.
It's great. Unfortunately, there are two countries in that group who call it soccer. I always enjoy watching the Socceroos play. It'll be sad if we have to end their World Cup, but it's a great draw for the U.S.
Yeah, and they've played now. Obviously, they've played both Australia and Uruguay. Leading up to this point,
Paraguay is
Paraguay.
Uruguay is a much better country.
Didn't they play Uruguay too? Yeah,
5-1 they beat Uruguay, which is amazing.
But all considering, it was probably their B team.
Right.
And again, it was the U.S. is probably our B team too. I don't think we've put out our real starting lineup yet.
Nothing close.
And
to
I would expect that they're gonna, be. I would expect that they're gonna be competitive in this World Cup.
I think so, because the Path C winner that will end up in their bracket, it's Slovakia, Kosovo, Turkey and Romania. Turkey is probably traditionally the best country in there, but it's a great draw for the U.S. We're really we're set up to win the group, and
Yeah, so they'll have 2 games. I think there are 2 games in LA, and then a game in Seattle for the U.S. Gillette will host. I believe England is going to play there twice, and France will play there once.
That's great.
Which is good for this area.
Yeah.
We could potentially see Croatia there too, which would be phenomenal from a soccer standpoint.
Sure.
To see a player such as Luka Modric play, who's 40 years old. He's
who they upset England, right, in the last World Cup, if I'm correct.
Oh yes, they did.
England. I don't like to put myself on a limb, but
England wants payback from Croatia. I'm not sure they're gonna get it so easily, but.
The other interesting thing that came out of this is Bryant University was awarded to be a host, so they will host at least 1, maybe 2 teams that will train.
The training site.
I mean,
the facilities there are unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah, so RIFC played their first year at Barron Stadium, and they put in a ton of money into the infrastructure there. And then the university built like it was like 15,000 square foot sports complex.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. We have a good relationship with a couple of their athletic directors over there, and so they're obviously excited. It does sound like we have a call coming in.
Let's see if we can get this patched through here, Coach.
Nope, maybe not. It stopped.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and I get it. I'll speak as a soccer novice, to put it lightly. I want all of our soccer listeners out there, you two included, to just lean into the dumbing down that we have to do to get more casual fans involved. It's like anything else. I'm a hockey guy, right? And there was a time period when the shadow on the puck bothered me, and why are we trying to why are we expanding to Florida? Why don't we have a team in Quebec or Minnesota when we didn't? But we're going here and there, and Texas and California. What it has done is, it's grown the game, it's grown the sport. You have incredible players coming out of California, Texas, and I do think getting, growing soccer in the U.S. So it's an incredibly popular youth sport, right? And it's just
to a detriment, I think.
It's a slow burn as you get. Well, we don't have enough great people teaching it. I think
that's the problem.
Right? We get daddy coaches.
It becomes more of a pay to play.
I coach soccer,
and you're paying for not quality.
But I do hear a lot of you guys sort of go at us, and you don't want to do it. Look, help somebody understand the game.
Yeah.
Have a beer with them. Invite them out.
We don't have to. We don't have to care if they call it a game instead of a match. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like I just did.
Who cares? They're watching. They're interested. It's a great sport, especially if you like hockey.
Or a field or a pitch.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But a lot of the game is very similar to hockey. When I started watching it, I'm like, oh, this is like slow hockey. Imagine a less reactive version and a more cerebral version of hockey, and that's what soccer is. The concepts are very similar.
Well, for people who go over to Europe, even like my buddy Chris Galvin, who's a big hockey baseball guy, he lived over in London for a period, and he was like, you go to a live event over there, and it's like
life changing. It's an event.
Yeah,
it is.
It's nonstop singing.
We have another buddy who goes over, Mike
Stevens,
who goes over, and he's gone over to the.
He goes to Wrexham games.
He goes to Wrexham games. He's a Leeds fan, and just a soccer enthusiast in general. But he gets it. He's like, it's an event. You don't leave the stands.
Oh yeah,
you don't get up and leave to go to the bathroom.
I've been to
go get a beer in the middle of the game.
I've been to a few Premier League games, and it's crazy. It's nonstop singing because every game matters. There are no playoffs.
Right.
So that kind of helps.
True.
The festive atmosphere.
And you're playing. For there is a stake, right? You don't, there's the relegation factor,
right? Oh yeah,
right.
There are consequences.
You got to stay up here if you don't,
And they're all neighborhood clubs too. Even the big London clubs, they're still neighborhood clubs at heart.
Yeah, which is the interest. I think the USL is starting to look into the relegation. I think in 2028 the USL league is going to start the relegation. I don't know if it will ever trickle over to the MLS or not, but. the USL is definitely going to start it. Which
it keeps people motivated.
Yeah,
it
you
sure
want to
does.
stay up. Don't
Yep.
and you got to spend. You got to pay for players,
Yep.
or you got to, whatever the case may be.
It would be great to have the U.S. go on a run and have some success. I mean, this is your opportunity to really, the women have done it time and time again. So I do hope, they're set up to win the group. Hey, let's win the group.
Win the group first, yeah.
Because I really do think that
you have to.
people getting the U.S. casual fan involved, it's like when you start to have success and you go on a run, people really do. The bars will be full. People will be having house parties, and it's like the Olympics, right? Like you just get behind it.
Right.
So
That's how I started. I mean, '94. I remember going out buying my first U.S. team jersey with the stars and the blue. And in '94 when the World Cup was over here. Then
the baggy jerseys.
Yeah.
And the last great run they had was in 2002, and that was before everyone had all this access to Premier League games on a weekly basis.
Right.
And so it was kind of in the dark still if you weren't already a fan. But if they were to go on a similar run and get to, say, the round of 16 this year, it would be huge. It would be so much bigger for the growth of the sport in the country here. And they have a good squad, and they have a real chance to make a run like that again. And in an expanded field like it is this year, this is the first time there's 32? How many teams? 48?
48 teams.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Like
48.
It is expanded.
Yeah, I think it used to be 32. But there are no groups of death. And there are easy paths for getting to the final round of 32.
I think that group with England is a tough group, and the group with there was one other group that was more difficult that I thought was like, I'm glad we're not in that one. Actually, I think
Brazil, Morocco, Scotland,
Yeah.
Haiti. That's a tough one. Morocco knocked out Portugal in the last World Cup, so they're legit.
Who?
Portugal.
Portugal.
And Scotland's tough. They're always scrappy, and Brazil isn't quite as good as they are historically, but that's going to be a fun group to watch, and some of those games will be at Gillette.
Yeah, so this all starts up in June. I think the U.S. have a couple games leading up to that. In February, I think in Chicago they have a couple games leading up to it. But yeah, it's exciting times to be a footy fan, soccer fan, whatever you want to call it.
We have the World Cup in this country. That's a great thing.
Enjoy it. And I think you're right. Dumb it down as needed, right? We need, especially, I know you're not a huge soccer guy, but
I'll
watch
follow
it.
this. I'll definitely.
Yeah.
I love sports, and I love big events. So for people who are even mildly interested, this is something that is a spectacle. Certainly live, and even on TV. I mean, these stadiums will be
packed,
sold out.
Yeah,
bars will be packed. Yeah,
the tickets are a little pricey.
A little bit.
I mean, that's the original reason why I got Rev season tickets back, 3, 4, 5 years ago was I thought that I'd have an in on getting but then we realized as we got closer that FIFA controls the tickets, and so it was like.
Yeah, I've already been denied twice in their
so
lotteries,
you got
so.
We got an offer to buy tickets through the Revs, but it was for like the club seats, like it was like $32,000 and you had to buy like a minimum of 4. I'm like, we're not there. So
yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. But all right, well, we're gonna finish up the show. Thanks guys for coming in. Appreciate you coming in, filling up the time while Kevin was recovering from hopefully a great wedding last night, and always appreciate in studio guests. And thank you to you listeners who listened in. So, again, Kevin should be back next week. We have, I think we have some in-studio guests we're lining up to come in, which is always a pleasure. So keep listening in. Again, this is Pat Holland from the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Thank you for listening in, and have a great weekend.